All right, we're recording. Welcome back, creatives. You're tuned in for another crushing Mill Spouse influencer interview. And today we have Lakesha, who is an entrepreneur. She's a mother. She's an influencer in our community. And she's just an all-around busy woman. Oh, I'm getting a really crazy background. Maybe I'm too loud. Sorry, guys.
Maybe I'm too loud. Let me turn mine down too, because I do have this microphone on.
It's okay. Let's see. All right, we're making it work. This is all raw, unedited. So anyway, I'm your host, Moni Jefferson. I'm the host and founder of the Mill Spouse Creative, and we are just excited to have Lakesha here. Like I said, she is an entrepreneur, a military spouse, a mother, a soon-to-be author, and we'll get into that later. And I'm just really excited to have you here to chat a little bit about your journey as a military spouse and where you're going. So welcome, and why don't you take a second to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Hey guys, I'm Lakesha Cole. I am a Marine Corps spouse, entrepreneur, owner of She Swank 2. We are a curated shop for girls. We've been in business since 2009, and we recently just opened our first brick and mortar store in Jacksonville, North Carolina. So our boutique caters to young girls between the ages of 1 and 6, and we sell all the cute, trending apparel and accessories.
Yes, and they are
on the market right now.
So tell me a little bit about.
I do.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Where did I get the idea? Mm-hmm. Well, like many of your audience who's watching right now, when we PCS from Virginia to Camp Pendleton, I couldn't find a job, and I consider myself to be highly marketable, very skilled, very good at what I do, but I still found it challenging to find a job. I knew at some point that I wanted to start my own business, but the opportunity had never presented itself to me. So I just decided to jump for it and go for it. And I jumped right in there. I took $500 from my husband's paycheck without asking. And I drove myself to the garment district in LA, and I taught myself how to buy wholesale. I came back to my apartment. I used what was left of that $500 to secure my domain. To build a very basic website. And I started selling to my friends and family. And that was in 2009. So I actually started off in women's wear. It wasn't until I really, my Kaylee was 3 at the time when we moved to Camp Pendleton. You know, by that age, you're really in the cutesy phase of dressing your kids up.
And the
yeah. So I was totally into it. I was obsessed with children's apparel, children's accessories. So I thought that was a better market fit for me and my business. So we made that transition over. We've been rocking and rolling ever since.
That is awesome. Tell me a little bit about what you were doing before you became this boutique entrepreneur. What were you doing?
Oh, girl. So I have
yourself with active duty.
Well, we've been married for almost 15 years. So our entire marriage, he's been active duty. But I have actually been very fortunate to have some really cool jobs along the way, I must say. So my background is in journalism. I have a BA in journalism, minor in public relations. So I always had this idea that I wanted to be a news reporter. But then when I actually had the opportunity to do it like in an internship setting, I was like, this is not for me. They're all in my hair. They're telling me what to wear. And it was just this whole prepackaged thing about, you know, being a TV personality that I just didn't like.
Right.
And I realized I really enjoyed being behind the scenes more. So from there, I went and I interned with a magazine called Triad Style Magazine. It was the arts and style magazine in Greensboro. I don't even think it's in circulation anymore. That was my first job in my field. And then I went over and worked for Combat Camera on Camp Lejeune. Mm-hmm. Then I worked for a trade publication in Jacksonville. And then I went to Quantico, worked for Headquarters Marine Corps. Somehow I landed in the mental health field.
Right.
So I did a lot of prevention and education when we went out and talked about stress management, suicide prevention, combat stress. Yes. Carried that on to California. Between not being able to find a job, started my business, and actually finding work, I worked for counseling services at the FAP office at Camp Pendleton. And I really just developed this I don't want to say a passion, but I was appreciative, very grateful to have an opportunity to work there, to be able to assist families through hardships.
Right.
I'm not a therapist. I don't have a therapy, mental health, behavioral health background, but I learned a lot, and I was very grateful for that opportunity. And then we moved back to the East Coast. I continued to work for Headquarters Marine Corps, worked for the Marine Corps Combat Stress Unit. Then that contract ended, and then I ended up in a position, public information officer, and constituent liaison officer for Stafford County government, which at the time was the wealthiest county in the country. So I got to put my journalism skills back to
really, you got to
however many years later.
Like on a high level.
Yeah.
Like now, like journalism, everything is like in high degree. So
absolutely.
Awesome.
So it all came full circle for me. When we left Stafford, we moved to Okinawa. That's when I made the transition from employee to employer.
Yeah. So
and decided to pursue my business full time.
What was your aha moment like where you're like, you know what, I am sick of this. I am just going to do it. I know you took $500. You were like, boy, you will find out. But like, what was your moment? You're like, I'm done. I'm frustrated.
So up until moving to Okinawa, my business was really part-time. Worked full-time, went to school full-time, had a part-time business. So I never stopped growing the business. I just said whenever it was time for me to make that jump, I want to do it in a responsible way and not just up and quit my job because I have this great idea.
Right, like some people do.
Right. They were like, I'm going to quit my job. I'm like, well, that's dumb. What are you going to do that for?
You got to have a plan.
Right. But moving overseas, it's very challenging to find work. And it's very challenging to continue or pursue any type of career path. So I knew that was the right opportunity for me to pursue entrepreneurship full time. All the cards were there, and it didn't make sense to not to.
Right. And it's such a great thing. You can take it with you, and you had all the skills, doing all these things prior. Right. What did you find like one of the hardest transitions as far as like your personal life from being, like a part-time stay-at-home mom? I feel like we're always work-at-home moms no matter what.
Right.
And now you're like, hey, you guys, just so you know, this is like a real business and profit, and mommy has to spend time doing all of these extra things. How was the transition for your family?
The hardest transition is time. There's never enough time. So I have to be mindful of setting work hours for a reason. The same mindset that I had going to a traditional 9 to 5 where I get up every morning, get dressed, eat breakfast, make sure I'm out the door so I can get to work on time. I take that same mindset with me every day as being self-employed. I have to, because if I don't roll myself out of bed, get myself dressed, although I didn't make it out of my work clothes today, I'm still in my workout clothes from this morning.
That was me yesterday.
I didn't make it to the gym, nor did I make it out of workout clothes. So no workout, no real clothes.
Well, you worked out.
But I went to work. I went to work today. I opened my shop and I had to apologize to every single customer that came in. Like, pardon my workout clothes, but I wouldn't have made it out the house on time had I gone back upstairs to try to get all fancy for you guys. So it's just time. Setting those work hours, setting boundaries, not only setting boundaries, but respecting the boundaries that you set for yourself. That's a hard transition.
And so what is one thing you use like a lot of? You and I talked about this before.
What do you mean?
I messaged you the other day. I was like, the block scheduling.
Oh, so yes, I do block scheduling, time blocking, or whatever you want to call it. So there's about a 3 to 4 hour window in my day that's actually my work day. So where most people go to work for 8, 9, 10 hours a day, there's only about 3 hours in that time frame where I'm able to get work done. So my 2-year-old, so I have 11-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 1-year-old. 11-year-old is in middle school. My 1-year-old goes to daycare, but my 2-year-old comes to work with me every day. So we call it homeschool, where I bring her to work. She learned the fundamentals, but then she also gets to learn how to run the business at the age of 2. So I have her there with me during the day while I'm still running my shop and still trying to do my other work. So blocking my time off is crucial. we don't get, my day doesn't start until 1 when she goes down for her nap. From 1 to 4, I block off my task in 30-minute increments.
Okay.
And whether I'm finished with it or not, I put it down and move on to the next. Because it's not really about completing it right then and right there.
Right.
It's about progression. So as long as I do a little bit of it every single day and know that I have until Friday to complete it, it makes it easier. It's a lot less stressful.
I agree with you. I agree. Just little, like, small wins every day, like making progress. I feel like sometimes we put so much pressure on ourselves to, like, finish something and for it to get done immediately. And the best things that are done in progress, and they're done slowly.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely agree. I used your block time the other day when I had my plate was too full, and I was like, oh my gosh, what can I do? And I literally did 30-minute blocks for like 4 things, and that was 2 hours of my time. But
it makes you feel good too when you're done. You're like, I got a little bit of something done on everything. So
especially when you're
kicking that can down the road.
You always have a million emails. You always have proposals, invoices, like it's never ending. And then if you volunteer, on top of that, you have your volunteer commitments, and those can always overlap into your family time. So I think having those, like you said, having the block time and making sure you get up, and it's your business, so you have to really work it. I love that.
You do, yeah. So you don't work it, you don't get paid.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So tell me a little bit about, like, one of the top 3 things you would tell a military spouse who wants to start a boutique or just any brick and mortar. Like, what are the top 3 things you would?
Don't up and quit your day job just because you think you have a great style, a great eye for fashion, whatever it is that you want to sell, and you think because your friends and family love what you do that they're going to be your first and best and most frequent customers. It doesn't quite work out that way. So the first tip I would say, don't up and quit your job. I had someone say, I want to quit my job and do this, and I said, that is the dumbest idea ever. Why would you go and leave your steady paycheck for something that you don't even know if it's going to work? So I say, plan to quit your job. Invest. Yes. Plan to quit. Yes. I also tell people to test before you invest. So you have an idea, test it out before you actually invest in it. Put all your money in it. Test it to see if it works. Test it to see if other people love it just as much as you do. Again, we like to think because we have great style or you know what I mean, that everyone is going to be on board with that. But I'm not my ideal customer. So I had to learn how to approach my business that way. And my third one would possibly know your industry. Whether you're selling children's apparel, whether you're selling hair products or makeup, know your industry, stay on top of your industry trends, know who are the movers and shakers in your industry. Just stay on top of that, because that filters into how you present your brand to your customers. The type of merchandise that you choose to carry, you want to make sure that you're always trending or in style, you know what I mean? And know your market too, because what's hot in California may not be hot in DC. I had to learn that, bringing my business from East Coast to West Coast, where they wear flip-flops all the time, and I just didn't quite understand. And I didn't understand the whole dressy flip-flop concept. They're just flip-flops.
Are you talking about in South Carolina? You're in
California. No, I'm talking about in California.
Oh, I was going to say in Charleston, South Carolina, we did the same thing.
I didn't understand. I didn't know there was a such thing as a dressy flip-flop. To me, they're all flip-flops. So having to move from East Coast to West Coast and realize 2 totally different markets. You just always want to make sure that you do your homework and know your market. And we moved often, so we don't often get to choose that market.
Right.
So you have to get really, really creative and figure out ways to adapt and make the best of the market that you're dealt with.
How does your family feel about, all of your ventures that you're doing? You have She Swank, you have your book's coming out.
Yes.
You have a couple of shows. I was looking today. I follow you all the time. I'm like,
okay.
crushing it. I'm just like, this is amazing. And I feel like everybody should know about you and be following you so that they can be inspired and be motivated that like you can do it. Anybody can do it if you do it the right way. If you take your time, if you delegate, if you schedule block time or block schedule, and treat your business like a business and you do your research. So what are some of the things that your family are like, hey, this is awesome? Like, are they excited about all of this? Like, how do they?
To them, I'm just mom. I'm no one special. And I don't think I would have it any other way.
That's awesome.
You know, they keep me in check. So there's no room for any of that. It's your mom. It's dinner time. What are you cooking? Your mom, you know, my diaper is wet. Change me, you know. So
it's mom. Not like I got a store. I don't change.
Yeah.
You're just mom. That's awesome.
And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. And that's why I started doing these interviews with spouses that are, you know, doing their thing and people are watching and things are always a perception. And not that you're reflecting the wrong perception, because I do think that everything that you put out there is very authentic. But I think people forget that you struggle too, that you have bad days too, that there are days where you're like, oh, why today? Yeah. You know, because
and I try to share that just as much as I share my successes.
Yes.
So I try to share all of that. I think I posted something yesterday. I didn't know it was Temper Tantrum Toddler Tuesday. Didn't get that memo. But that was not, yesterday was interesting. And it just wasn't a great day for anyone. So,
and you know, but I think
it happens.
It's important for you to share that and for other spouses to hear your story and to say, wow, she's really had such a journey, and to be inspired by being able to see you be successful and support you, and also know that in that journey that there are transitions that are not always rainbows and unicorns, you know?
Right.
So I love that. And that's why I started doing this. And I immediately thought of you because I think you're super authentic. I love everything you're doing.
Thank you. I try to bring that in everything that I do, because when you don't, people can see through that. And it doesn't do you any good if you're just not, if you don't be yourself. And that's all I know how to do. So so I may sound crazy sometimes. I may sound,
I know, me too.
I'm frantic and I'm in a panic or I'm stressed. But, you know, as an entrepreneur, you experience so many emotions within a 24-hour period. You know, you can wake up happy, ready to tackle the world. Something happens and you just feel like your whole world is going to collapse. And it's a roller coaster. And it really is.
So now we're going to share some fun stuff. This is new that I just started. So tell me something quirky about you that your family may make fun of you.
Quirky
or silly, or something that people would just not even know that you do.
I watch reruns of The Golden Girls like every weekend.
What? That is awesome.
It's like my favorite show. Yeah.
It's such a feel-good show too. Like
it is. It's funny.
I feel great. Like, and it's funny. That is awesome.
Same episodes over and over and over again.
Really?
Yeah. That's my favorite show.
That is so cool. And what is a talent that we can't see that you might be able to do?
I don't know. I think I'm pretty open. Most people don't know that I do graphic design.
Okay.
So,
I wouldn't have thought it. I didn't think of didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah.
And what is your favorite saying?
Girl, bye. No. I say that way too often nowadays. And I shouldn't, but it's appropriate when I do say it. My favorite saying is just do it.
Really? I love that.
You know, people come to me and say, I have this idea and I think it'll be great. And then my response is just do it. Just do it. You know?
Yeah, I love that.
You're never going to know if it's going to work or not. So,
well, we're coming to the end. I want to know a little bit about what you're doing. So tell me really quick about the Milspouspreneur.
So Milspouspreneur is a private organization that I started when I was in Okinawa, to kind of address some of the challenges the spouses have starting and operating their business there. So they just elected a new 2017 board. I'm no longer a board member, but I love to see the organization grow.
Yes.
You know, without me being in a leadership position. But they're rocking it over there.
I know.
They're planning events and, you know, planning educational webinars and classes and things like that. So they're doing really good. And it just makes
tell
me
me
proud
about your
to
book.
see that
What's
continue.
going on with your book?
I do. So my book, Mommy Retailing, A Mom's Guide to Starting a Boutique. It'll be on Amazon in a couple of weeks.
Yay!
It'll release in February. Yes.
Awesome.
So I'm really excited about that. So it's kind of the lessons that I've learned throughout my retail entrepreneur journey. Pretty much how I got started. So I don't really leave anything out.
That's awesome. You're still in sugar.
I am.
Yes.
I share resources on. Absolutely. I share the good, the bad, the ugly. I share resources on where I buy merchandise.
Awesome.
I'm an open book
Some
about that
don't
too.
want to share stuff.
Yeah, I just figure we would. It's just what it is. If it's on Google, you don't own it. So
I know, but it's crazy. Some people don't want to share. They don't feel like there's enough for everybody, and it's like
that's crazy talk to me.
There is. I'm like, share your information. Like, it only makes you more golden.
Right. So it's everything that you need to know to succeed between drop off and pick up. So it's my day of how I run my business from the moment I drop my kids off to the time I pick them up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that'll be really good for any of the spouses here in the Mill Spouse Creative who are thinking of starting any kind of boutique or clothing store or any kind of brick and mortar. So that's great. I love that.
And part of it talks about balance in my day-to-day, which could apply to anyone, even if you're not interested in retail. And then the other part, it talks about building that boutique, whether it's online or whether it's a brick and mortar.
Awesome. Yeah. And tell me a little bit about, so you have She Swank too.
I do.
In Jacksonville.
How long are we in Jacksonville? For at least another year. My husband is planning to retire next year.
Okay, so you guys.
But we may stay a little long. We may stay a little longer. So we're thinking about 4 years.
Okay.
We'll stay.
So She Swank too. If I come next year, we'll be there hopefully because I do.
Hopefully.
Travel. No, I mean like if you decide to move it. Your business is crushing it.
I know. Hopefully, But that's the plan.
Will you move it with you again, or will you hire out for somebody to manage it?
No, I will leave it. Yeah, I will leave it.
That's awesome. So will it be like a She Swank 3?
It will just be multiple locations.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I got to get this one right first. So
yeah. Well, you're doing it. You're
doing a 2-year plan for that. Yeah, it doesn't happen overnight. Most people think it does, but it doesn't. That transitioning my store from overseas, which we had a contract with AFES, so our store was operated through AFES. To transition in that here, there's some challenges, that you don't really expect or plan for, that happens during that transition. But we're working through it, and it's coming along. So we're excited. Yeah,
I'm excited for you, and I'm gonna plan to make a trip down there sometime when I'm traveling. You know how the military be sending us wherever.
I know.
So share with me a little bit about where we can find you. Go ahead and plug where we can find you.
Okay.
And the events that you have coming up. We're on wrapping it up and sharing all that, and also everything is going to be in this. Sorry, my son's trying to talk to me right now.
Okay. Oh, it's fine.
Everything's going to be in this post as well.
Okay. You can find me at LakeshaCole.com. You can find me on Facebook at Lakesha Cole, the Mill Spouse Retail Coach. I'm on Instagram as well as the Mill Spouse at Mill Spouse Retail Coach. And you can also check out our new bi-weekly online talk show called Mocha Mill Spouse. It's a fun girlfriend-to-girlfriend conversation that provides cultural insight, news, life advice, and perspective about military living. So we are really, really excited about this. I have 5 other co-hosts who are joining this project, and we are really excited to bring
excited to listen.
some mocha-ish to the Mill Spouse community.
I'm excited to listen, and I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join me, and I really appreciate it. And you guys tune in next week. Also, make sure to ask Lakesha any questions. She will be on here for 30 minutes the day that this airs, so feel free to pop in, ask her any questions, reach out to her, and make sure to follow her and see what she's up to, and go and show your support. Because what we can do for each other is just show up. That's the most important thing, is showing up. I'm serious. I'm all about showing up. So if there's anything we can do over here at the Milspouse Creative, definitely let us know. And creatives, I hope you enjoy this interview. Make sure you tune in next week for another hot, crushing interview with another Milspouse Creative. This is my job. To check in with us. And have a great day.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, Lakesha. Thank you so much.
Bye.